Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rachele Teson and I'm a Nationally Certified School Psychologist here in Missouri.
For this week's tech tip, I wanted to share how to make an evaluation checklist. In one of my videos, I talk about how to create a digital case log, which is super helpful to keep track of everything. But what about individual students? Maybe we want something that we can keep in their physical file to keep track of everything as well. So, in today's video, I'm going to share how to make an evaluation checklist super easily in Google Docs. So here I am in my pretend Google Drive, and I'm going to create a brand new Google Docs. So all I'm going to do is right click, hover over Google Doc, and then say blank document. And then a new page will pop up. So you'll see at the top that Google Docs is trying to predict what I might need this for. So it has some of these cards at the top that you can click on. We're going to ignore those for now. It also has this document tab on the side to keep track of different headings. We can also ignore that for now. So to get started on our evaluation checklist, I am going to create a table. So I'm going to go to insert, go to table, and let's think, maybe 5 across. And then we can always add more. So let me do, I don't know, 5 by 5. We'll start there. And then outside of that table, we'll give ourselves a little title here. So evaluation checklist. You can highlight this, change the font. You know, I'm going to pick Poppins, and we'll do extra bold and maybe make it a little bit bigger. Okay, looks good. From here, we would want to capture those different pieces that we want to keep track of in the physical file with our evaluations. So first, we might want to know the student's name. And then I'm going to skip over this cell, come to the next one. We might want to know, actually, I'm going to skip over here as well. We might want to know if this is an initial evaluation or a reevaluation. So I'm going to actually come up here and make this a checkbox. If you come up to checklist, it will default to ones that cross a line through it, but I always like to click on this one, and we'll type the word initial, and then same thing, we'll add another checkbox and we'll say reeval. Okay, looking pretty good so far. We also want to keep track of referral date, and then maybe we want to keep track of the next step. So maybe that's consent. All right, and then we want to keep track of the meeting date. Where I am, we call them eligibility meetings. Where you are, it might be something different. Okay, and then we might want to have our draft report ready at a certain time. Okay, this is looking pretty good. I'm actually going to delete these rows here because I actually don't need them for right now. Okay, and then I'm going to merge these two. So I'm going to highlight those, right click, and then come down to merge cells. And then I'm going to add a line here. So all I'm doing is shift and then the underscore to make myself a little line here. Okay, and then here I'm going to do the same thing, make myself a line. Oh, all right, and then once I have that, I'm going to highlight it, copy it, and paste it here. Okay, so now that this table is built, I'm actually going to highlight the whole table, come up to border width, and say 0. That way it looks a little bit cleaner. All right, so that's kind of the demographic information, or just kind of the basics up at the top. So now I'm going to insert another table. So insert table, and this time we're going to keep the lines. And let's do 5 across again, and then 5 going down as well in terms of number of rows. Okay, so then for this part of the evaluation checklist, maybe we are keeping track of the areas of evaluation. So I might type area, and then the assessment that I plan to give. Maybe the evaluator, maybe it's myself, maybe it's myself, maybe it's a speech and language pathologist, maybe it's a collaborative evaluation. So I'll put evaluator there. You might want something different. I'll put done, and then I'll put report. This column will help me keep track of, if I administered that assessment or if the other evaluator administered their assessment. And this column will help me to know if I've already written it up in the evaluation report. So let's say I want this to be a checkbox. So I'm going to go up here and click on this box, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Okay. And then I'm going to highlight these two cells and copy. So I just did Control C on my keyboard here. I'll hover over these other areas and paste those so that I have that as well. Okay. And then let's say for these, I also want it to be a checkbox. So maybe the area of motor, maybe come up here again, maybe speech, maybe language. You can kind of capture any areas that you might need to keep track of. Let's say cognition. And then I'm going to highlight these rows, right click and say insert 3 below because I'm going to keep going. All right. Then we'll add academics. Come down here. Maybe we'll need to add social emotional. There we go. Okay. And then we'll need to add more of these checkboxes. So I'm just going to Control C and then Control V to paste those throughout. And then let's say there's another checklist here. Maybe this is for maybe a functional behavior assessment. Okay. So then going from here, I would make this maybe a little bit prettier just so that it is prettier to me. So I would come up here, highlight those different cells. Maybe I'll make this gray just so it looks more like a header. And then throughout these different pieces, I can adjust if I want maybe social emotional all on one line. Maybe the evaluator, I just do their initials. And then maybe for these, I actually scoot this over because I don't need that much room. And kind of play around with it until it looks good to you. All right, there we go. And then let's say we also want to keep track of any additional notes. So I'm going to insert another table. This time we're just going to do 2 rows, but just 1 column. And then I'll put notes right here. Maybe I'll fill that in as well, just so that I know that that's a header. And then I'm just going to hit enter until I can kind of fill up my page. And that way I can keep track of any notes that might be relevant to that case in terms of, parents are mostly available on Tuesdays, or don't forget to check in about that released information to see if parents are on board with that. But anything that might be relevant, we can have a little notes section. So then from here, if you wanted to see what it would look like, all finished, let's come back here. There we go. So zooming it out to 75%, you can kind of see the whole page. So if you can imagine this printed and then maybe stapled on the inside of your physical file with your evaluations, maybe this will be helpful to kind of keep track of all those little pieces. Is it finished? Is it in the report? And then any notes that you might want to keep. So I hope this was helpful to see how easy it can be to create your own checklist for evaluations. You can make it as customized as you want. You can use checklists. You can add these little lines like I did up here. Really, whatever you need, because we all work a little bit different. So And if you're thinking, this is great, but I don't really have time to create something from scratch, or I don't need it to be that customizable, I do have a freebie in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. So if you wanted to hop over there, grab that and print and go, you are more than welcome to do so. And if you are using Google Docs or maybe a different platform to create your evaluation checklist, I would love to hear what is helpful for you as you're keeping track of all of the moving pieces down in the comments. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.